Welcome to Season 2, Episode 9 of the Bulls Recap Podcast. I'm Joe Colley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You can obviously read my stuff at thechicagosuntimes.com. You can follow me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, at jcolleyhoops. Have fun with that follow if you'd like to. So back in, I do the mock draft every year. Back in 2018, the Bulls had 2 picks in the first round. I think the first one, I mocked him for Michael Porter Jr. They didn't love his medicals. I get it. He had the back. The second pick, I think it was 22nd. I had them picking the man out of Maryland that I freaking loved to watch. I was trying to speak it into existence. It did not happen. He went earlier, I believe, but here he is now, a Bull. I did speak it into existence. Kevin Huerter. Look at that.
Good morning. What's up, Joe?
I think it was I think they went Chandler Hutchinson with that pick, and you went 19?
Correct. Yeah, 19.
Yeah. All right, so I like origin stories. So let's go back before Maryland, before Atlanta, and how you got yourself here. Shenandoah High School. That's the proper pronunciation, right?
Close. Shenandoah.
Oh,
we just go by Shen for short, though.
Okay, Shen High School. Love it.
Shen High School.
Obviously, standout basketball player, but one of the things that we talked about, and then I had read, someone had told me back in the day, you could pick it. You were a shortstop for a while, could rake it, and played baseball. First of all, you had to outgrow shortstop, I'm guessing, at some point. They had to be like, dude, you're either first base or outfield.
Yeah, you can't be like 6'4" playing shortstop in high school. That was a tough look.
Did you like baseball? I mean, was that a sport was it ever higher on the hierarchy than basketball, or basketball was always first?
I did. Honestly, I thought I liked them equally all growing up. Like, I miss baseball. I'm still like a big fan even to this day. I played it all growing up and ended up finishing out. I played it all throughout high school. But I would say like when I got to 8th or 9th grade is kind of where basketball started to take off. Right. And baseball started to drag behind a little bit. But I always really loved the sport, enjoyed playing, and had a lot of friends playing it.
Did you play football at all or no?
I did. I played when I was younger. My football career was very short-lived. I played 2 years of tackle. The first year I got tackled and sprained my knee. And the second year I got horse collar and broke my arm. And I think the next day after, I put the cast on, my dad just was like, yeah, I think our football career is over.
I mean, that makes sense. So I'm going to throw out 2 names to you. Tell me if you remember what they are. Hamerick Wright, Stafford Trueheart. You remember those names?
Stafford Trueheart, for sure. What was the first one?
It was Hamerick Wright?
Hamir Wright.
Hamir
yeah.
Wright. Okay.
Hamir Wright, yeah. Hamir's from Albany. He went to Washington for Mike Hopkins, and then Stafford Trueheart was on my AAU teams growing up, and he ended up at Hofstra. But
I remember hearing Trueheart just because the name kind of stands out, but I don't think a lot of people realize 2016 you win Mr. Basketball for New York. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, there's a lot of people that come out of there. I mean, what was that like? And was there a lot of side eyes from people going, why is some kid from way up this part of New York when we got all these ballers here?
I know. That's kind of how it was too. People kind of differentiate New York State. Like, upstate New York is everything that doesn't involve New York City. And then New York City is like its own, basketball universe. And so like, I grew up in New York, and we always used to go down to the city, and I played against all those guys. But there was a couple years that like when Mr. Basketball would come out of upstate New York for basically non-city, everyone in the city would be super mad about it because for the most part they haven't heard of any of us up there. And so I won it that year over Shamari Pons, which Shamari ended up going to St. John's, and prolific scorer, like great high school scorer. The year before I won it, our team had won the state championship for public schools. And then at that point, my senior year, we were like number 1 in the state. So like we had all the team success.
Catholic private was separate divisions?
So they actually have 4. They have Catholic, they have private, they have public, and then there's like there's a 4th kind of like a charter type high school league. So it's technically 4 high school state champions every year. And so we were the public for like the whole state. So the year that I won it, my senior year, like we had all the team success that went along with it. But I remember it was like exactly described. It was like a Twitter conversation of like, who's this guy from our state? Like, how does he?
Guaranteed, people in the city were like, what? Yeah. Did you ever? You said you went to New York. Did you ever go down and be like, yeah, I want to get a run in at Rucker Park, see what it's like. I want to run at the Green Cages, see what it's like. I mean, some of the famous basketball sites in the city.
I never played outdoors. I never did like the Rucker Park or any of that stuff. But we and I'll give my dad a lot of credit. Like my dad was always challenging my brother and I. Like he was kind of our first coach and coached us a little bit, through high school. But like he was always trying to challenge us, and he knew a lot of that competition was going to be continuing to seek out better competition, and that was coming from New York City. So there are times like we'd put together, a small AU team of 5, 6, 7 guys, and in the fall we'd go down to New York City and Brooklyn and just scrimmage some high school team, like in some like back gym,
nice.
just because you knew it was going to be like they're going to take you up full court, they're going to be in your face, like it's going to be a different environment. You got to get used to this. And so we were always going down there to find competition and play people. So like I said, and even in AU, like I knew all the better players from down there, but I never did like any of the park stuff.
Gotcha. So you're being recruited. Obviously, choose Maryland. How close was Michigan in play? Because I've seen some articles where Michigan felt like it kind of seemed like it was 1-2. Is that right, or was there another school in there that was involved?
Yeah, Michigan was definitely my top 3. I'd say my top 3 at the time were, I'd done a visit to Villanova before I did my visit to Maryland, and then Michigan was going to be my 3rd the following weekend. I was close with the time with John D-Line. He had some connections to upstate New York through some people that he used to coach that we'd somewhat a connection going to that recruiting process. And he actually came out. He flew out and saw me play a baseball game, actually. And they ended up getting a commitment from a different guy in my class. And so I never ended up actually taking that visit. But the tough part was my second year in college. So this would be, I believe, the 2018 maybe was the year.
Yeah, 17-18.
Villanova and Michigan played each other in the national championship.
Yeah.
And so those are my second 3 schools, and I was in Maryland, and we didn't make the tournament. So it was that was a tough thing to kind of swallow.
So your second year in Maryland, what made you say, I think I'm going to make the jump? I mean, obviously, your name was out there, great shooter, great athlete. I think the athleticism is underrated with you and always has been. And but what made you say? I mean, because that was going to be a loaded draft class. I mean, there were a lot of dudes in that class. What made you say, I'm going to put my toe in the water, but no, now I feel good that I'm going to jump in with this class? I mean, maybe I could wait a year and see if I could go higher. But what made you say, no, I feel good that I could jump in with this class?
Yeah, first off, I didn't want to leave. Like, I truly mentally wanted to stay in college. I love college. Like, I grew up watching college basketball, so my dream originally was to play in the NCAA tournament. It was never really to kind of, play in the NBA. It wasn't something I was trying to rush and do.
Right.
And so, but I go back, like a lot of it was my dad. So I remember when that season ended, Maryland, we didn't make the tournament. We didn't make any postseason tournaments. All of a sudden, our season abruptly ends after the Big Ten tournament. We lose to Wisconsin. And I had every intention. Like, I had talked with at the time, like Bruno Fernando was another guy at Maryland. He was thinking of coming in the draft. Another guy, Justin Jackson, who was a 2nd-round pick to the Magic. So, like, I remember meeting and talking with those guys, like, we all have to come back. Like, we had this Jalen Smith actually was coming in the following year. Aaron Wiggins, who's with the Thunder now, was coming in the following year. So, like, we're about to be loaded here at Maryland. If we all come back, like, we have a chance to go win a national championship. And so I wasn't going to go through the draft process, like, at all. I was like, I'm good. I want to go back to school. And my dad was just like, go through the process. I've been talking with his agent. He says, you're going to get invited to the combine. Like, just go there and weigh yourself up against all these guys that are coming out. Like, go there, play pickup. Like, when you get on the court with them, you'll feel how close you are. And so he's like, I think you should go do this, go through the experience. And the next year when we're doing it for real, like, that you'll have a much better time doing it. And so I was like, all right, I'll do it. So I did a couple workouts and I did the combine, and like my value just skyrocketed. So then it became I ended up getting a promise in that first round. by a team to come out. And so I knew at that point, like, I'd be a first round pick. And at that point, it was one of those, like, you got to strike when the iron's hot.
Right.
You're kind of the
No, I
same
get
thing
it.
flying up draft boards. You got to come out. And so I did.
Did you talk to the Bulls during the process, or did you back off of talking to teams once you had that promise and said, yeah, I don't really need to put myself out there like that?
Yeah, I actually didn't. I didn't talk to the Bulls at all.
Okay.
Chandler Hutchinson and I, who they took in that draft, we actually had the same agent, and I never heard anything from Chicago.
Yeah, he had a promise. He had a promise for the Bulls. I know that.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So my promise was later, in the first round, but the through that process, like, I had such a big range of teams. Like, I had as far up as the Clippers at, I think they 12 and 13. Like, the Clippers were interested in me, but then as far back as, like, Atlanta at that point had the 30th pick, and they were thinking about me for their second pick potentially. They ended up taking me with their first at 19. At 30, they took Amari Spellman. But, like, my range was like 20 picks in that first round, and so it was just going to be like team fit. But I never talked Chicago. So
you go to Atlanta, and I thought it was a great fit for you, and I thought you actually were a productive player. And then they want to do the DeJounte Murray thing, and now finances get into it. When the DeJounte Murray thing is the smoke is there, do you look around and you're like, oh shit, I'm probably one of the odd men out of this because of financially they're going to have to move some money to afford him? Or was it a kind of caught off guard where I thought it could be someone else, or they could try moving something else instead of me?
I knew something was going to happen. We had a lot of guys there. At the time, my new deal was going to be kicking in that following year. I knew it was a contract that, like you said, could be used to be put together to get somebody else. But the truth is, like, we had at that point almost similar to Chicago. Like, we were super deep, and we had so many guys, around 5 or 6 people, that all I think were deserving of playing 20 to 30 minutes on any given night. So something had to give, and we had a run. We made the East Conference Finals the next year, came up short. So it kind of felt like the organization was going to try something new. And so I could kind of feel like there was going to be something that was going to happen. I don't know if it was me or somebody else, but I was kind of waiting around, somewhat expecting it.
Were you, that's your first NBA team, and obviously there's always a spot or an allegiance for that first team that, hey, we drafted you, we believed in you. What was your, like, devastation level? Or are you someone that could kind of compartmentalize and kind of flip it as, hey, this is a business and this is part of the business?
Yeah, I think I was shocked the day it went down. Like, you kind of, like, you build yourself up, right? It was my first time getting traded.
Right.
So, like, you're kind of building yourself up. There's somewhat of, like, an excitement, what could be next and where you're going to go and what's happening. The devastation for me, it had nothing to do with the city itself. The devastation was I got moved to Sacramento, which was like the complete opposite of everything I'd ever known. And the team was great, and that's not shade at their fan base of the team.
No.
It was just like, it was such a culture shock. I was going all the way to the West Coast in, like, North California, and I'm from Northern New York. Yeah. And so that was kind of the parts, like, damn, like, they really just shipped me across the country. Like, that's crazy. And so it was going to be all brand new. I was on vacation when I heard of the news of the trade. Like, I actually thought I was going to a separate Eastern Conference team. Like, there was an East Conference team that they were super close on a trade. Like, it was almost a done deal. And my agent in Sacramento came in, like, last second. Can't tell you. I'll wait for that. Sacramento came in last second, and, like, within 5 to 10 minutes, this deal was done, and it was done. And the former team just wasn't able to put something together. Right. So that was more the culture shock, was where I was going regionally,
And we've talked to you about Sacramento. And again, I still don't have a full grasp of Sacramento and what happened, because your first year, I was like, okay, dude got a new lease in life, and dude's taking advantage of it. Because I thought that was probably some of the best basketball you had played up to that point. And it felt like they coveted you. And then, I mean, whether it was the Mike Brown offense, whatever it was, something drastically changed. When you're in it, do you see, oh crap, I'm falling out of favor, or oh crap, there's a new philosophy? I mean, do you feel it where it's just like, why is this changing? Because I felt like it was a good match. Things were going forward in a good direction for both of us.
Yeah, it was. That first year was electric. It really was. Like our style of play, Sabonis was really the hub. We were playing fast,
Yeah.
sort of kind of how we are with the Bulls now. Like a lot of body movement, shooting threes, playing fast, playing in transition. And then we get into that Warriors series. Our first year there, we lose to the Warriors in 7 games. And we didn't shoot it well as a team. Like we had a
was
really
a great series.
Great series, but like we had a really off shooting series by players like myself and some of the other guys that all year had been 40% 3-point shooters.
Right.
And so I think that series like changed the philosophy of the organization. Like they looked at that was basically, we can't lose another series if we don't shoot it well. Like we have to find another way to win. And so our identity of a team started to change pretty much from that point. Like that following training camp, we got some new guys in, and I think defensively the organization was looking for some sort of more of a defensive presence like this. We got to maybe score less points, and we got to hold teams to it. We got to be a top 10 defense, maybe not a top 10 offense. It's kind of, I think, where the mindset went. And, we started to change some of the stuff we did offensively. Like Sabonis was used less and less of a hub. And today he's really not the center of the universe right now in their offense. Right. So they started to kind of go away from using him, which in terms went away from a lot of my rhythm and my movement and how I was getting fed. And, just kind of went downhill for me. Things a little bit spiraled in that last year. Just wasn't myself, wasn't making shots, just wasn't nearly as effective as I know that it could be. And, that's just kind of where the organization went. Like that series, I think, kind of changed a lot of ways of how they thought.
When you're a player and that's happening, are you thinking, here we go again, I'm probably going to be shipped again? Or are you thinking, all right, this is fixable stuff. Maybe we get back to what we were doing instead of trying to lock down the Warriors, maybe try and score with the Warriors and get back to what we were doing, if that was the series that they wanted to base things on. And where's your mentals as far as all this is going? Are you like, oh, really, this is going to happen again?
Yeah, I was kind of ready for the fresh start. I think it was a long year and a half of, some play that I thought I was better than, personally. Like, I wasn't getting the full player out of myself that I knew it could be. And, it just kind of felt like you could see the writing on the wall. You could kind of see where things were going. As a team, we weren't playing nearly as well together as we had in the past. And, I was just kind of ready for a fresh start. And so, we talked to my agent, like we were kind of hand in hand with their front office over the last couple of weeks leading up to the deadline. Kind of knew something was going to be on the horizon, waiting to see what exactly it was going to be. And it was funny, actually, the day that the trade was materializing, I was sitting in a hotel, kind of similar to I am in Minnesota. And I was texting with Fox,
De'Aaron Fox at the time, asking him what he was hearing. And my agent had called me and said, like, there's a deal in place. I know you're a part of it. I don't know the third team. So he's like, I know that San Antonio is involved. I know it's the Kings. I don't know who the third team is. Like, stand by. So I had about 20 minutes by myself in this room thinking, like, there was like honestly, there was a genuine excitement. Like, I wonder where I'm going, and going through every team in my head of like.
But you're not going to the Spurs, even though they're involved, right?
Correct. But I know I'm not going to the Spurs. So I knew I was going to this third team. So I had 20 minutes of kind of like, where am I going? Like, this is kind of fun. Like, I'm playing around with the trade calculator. And I swear, gut feeling, I knew it was the Bulls. Like, in my head, I was like, I think it's Chicago. Like, the contracts work. Like, I just kind of got this feeling. Like, I had a feeling it was Chicago. And so my agent calls me back 25 minutes later. It's like, so the third team, Chicago, you're going there. I'm still figuring out all the details. So it's like, all right, here we go.
So here's what I liked. It was from afar. Look, this Bulls locker room is as good a locker room as I've covered. So don't take this the wrong way. But it's a bunch of choir boys. And I'm not saying you're not a choir boy, but you just always struck me if this was the Karate Kid universe, you would have been in Cobra Kai. I'd say you and Dalen Terry, probably out of the entire – everyone else is Miyagi-Do, crane kicks and meditating and stuff. You and Dalen, definitely. Modest maybe. Definitely have – it's like a cockiness, but it's not like a detrimental one. It's just a swagger and stuff that I was like, the Bulls need a little bit of a little juice. So I was glad when I had heard your name. I was like, yes. But at the same time, you come here and then we're told, well, him and Zach and Trey are kind of in this holding tank. And we've talked about that holding tank numerous times and stuff. At any point, did you think, oh, I could be moved again? Or were you told, at least you specifically, who knows with Trey? Because Trey was the one that seemed to be, they weren't sure yet. Were you assured the Bulls is going to be your resting spot for this season?
Last year when the trade happened, that holding pattern that you're talking about, I did know there was a chance I was moved again. And that was kind of, Billy in a lot of ways, I think, was trying to keep all of us together. Like I say all of us, me, Trey, and Zach. And he wasn't trying to play one guy and have the other two sit. Like it was kind of like, let's get through this week. Like I know there's still a lot of conversations being had. Let's get through this week and then, bring you all back together. We'll get a good practice in. We'll get film. And in the meantime, you guys can just, watch us, see how we operate and all that. And so there was like a chance that we were moved again. And I think that was the organization figuring that out. But Billy also being conscious of like, this is a major change for these guys. They just got traded somewhere midseason. They're moving their life. Let them take a deep breath real quick and just like taking this rounding before they throw it on fire.
I think instantly, I'm not a big plus minus guy in the tunnel, but I'm a big plus minus guy in the overall scope of things. How does this group function time and time again? How does this group function against specific kind of lineups? A bigger lineup, does that give them problems? Are they minus against that lineup? And the one thing I'll say about you, led the team in plus minus last year. I believe you're leading this year, even though it took a hit last night, but with the Denver game. But still, what does that say about you and how, because you've done it as a starter, you've come off the bench, you've kind of done some things. And Billy's brought this up that A, you're an underrated athlete. B, you're an underrated defensive player, specifically team defender. And C, you just play kind of winning basketball. Do you buy into this plus minus thing, or do you think that, hey, I've just kind of been the right guy at the right place at the right time since I've been here as a Bull?
Yeah, I think game by game, like you said, it doesn't tell the whole story. There's times that you're on the court, when a guy goes on a heater and it looks really good. But I definitely think like anything else, like over time, if you get a large sample size, like that does tell a story. And for me, I think that's my number one goal when I play is trying to impact winning. And that seriously is like, I feel like when I'm on the court, I make guys better. I feel like I play unselfish. I move without the basketball. Defensively, best I can, play with a lot of effort and try to be in the right spots. And so when you're just kind of out there, like playing the right way and trying to do the right thing, a lot of times like you're rewarded for that. And it's kind of really my mindset when I go on the court. It really doesn't matter what line I'm playing with.
Is this, obviously, I think you and 5-6 other guys are all in the same boat. I think the Bulls' mentality this year is they want to see how this season plays out, and then they'll make decisions. Is that fair? I mean, do you feel like, I get it. We've got a lot of movable contracts. We've got a lot of expiring contracts. You've expressed to me in the paper that you would love to stay in Chicago and be a Bull. But do you guys, as a group, it seems like collectively, you guys all understand that, hey, we know this could be just a this year thing. And if we do what we feel we're capable of doing, they'll buy into us just like we've bought into them.
I really do. I really do. I get it. I think for 90% of the NBA, like you can't afford to have a bad season,
right? You're going to be looked at in different light. You might fall out of favoritism on your own team.
It completely change your role the rest of your career. And so I don't think it's one of those things that like a contract year should change how you play or how you approach the game or approach every day. Like you can't afford to go out in a non-contract year and play bad,
Yeah.
And so for me, that hasn't really changed too much. Just trying to show up every day to be the best I can be. It was something that we talked about early though. Like it was in one of our first team meetings of the year. We talked about how Billy, there's really never an elephant in the room. Like he'll address it right away. He pretty much walked in the first day. He's like, all right, so 80 of you are on expiring contracts. How are we going to approach the season? Like, are we going to be selfish? Are we going to think about ourselves? Are we going to be stats driven? Or like, are we all going to buy in and realize that winning solves everything in this league? Like if you win, everybody gets rewarded for it. And so I think everyone's played the right way. I think everyone's really rooting for each other. I love how this group has come together in this early season. And the contract year for me doesn't change much. I get it. So it's a business we're in.
I will say this, I covered baseball for 12 years, and I covered that White Sox team that won the World Series. And even in spring training, the thing I noticed about them, I had never been around a group that liked each other and respected each other as much as that White Sox team. That doesn't look. I've covered some horseshit teams that they liked each other, but they just weren't very good. So it's a two-part thing. But I thought this training camp and this group reminded me of that 05 White Sox team as far as just the acceptance of a brotherhood that this group has. I mean, it is a bunch of good guys, but at the same time, it seems like a group of guys that care for each other on and off the court, and I think that translates. In basketball especially, I think it translates.
I definitely do. I think there's a respect. I feel like truly everyone roots for each other. I think everyone's bought in the fact that we are truly like a really deep team. Like we had a really, really competitive training camp. I think already early on in the season, we're seeing the advantage that our numbers have when we're going against other teams that maybe have one single guy that's more talented than any one single guy in our league. I really think we've bought into the fact that our team, our full team, is better than other teams' full team. And so I truly feel like guys root for each other. When they get in the game, they play the right way. Everyone the best they can. They play to our identity. We play fast. We play unselfish. We get downhill. There's a toughness, I think, about us. And yeah, it's a really fun thing to be a part of.
All right, before I get you out of here, I do this thing called the interrogation room. I just ask you some quick hitting questions. First answer that comes to your mind. Nobody's listening. It's not a big deal. Let's see. Number one, the elbow to Dorian Finney-Smith, accident or dude's face got in the way?
Accident, but yeah, accident. He was holding me. I tried to sweep through, and his head was.
I watched it in slow motion, and you did kind of try to swim over him. And what were you pointing at down the court? Were you pointing at him or pointing at the sideline? Because he was saying stuff going down the court, and you pointed. I can't tell if you were pointing at him.
I want to say maybe the time I was trying to point because I could already see he started bleeding. So maybe I was pointing at this guy needs a sub. But yeah, sometimes you get tangled up. You got to make it a little more obvious so the refs start to see it. But that was definitely not on purpose. I don't play like that.
TV show you're streaming now?
I actually don't have a show right now, unfortunately.
Okay.
I always during the season, because of how much obviously we're flying, I always have a big show during the year. Last year was The Wire. The year before, I think it had Sopranos. I've done everything. I can go through.
Gotcha.
List all our shows. I don't have one currently. I've been watching.
Are you a video gamer or no? You a gamer? No.
I do. I game.
Do you bring it on the road?
I got a PC. I got a traveling laptop that I'll bring with me.
So
I've been on Battlefield and Call of Duty.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. First game you dunked in. First game, not practice. First game.
First game, I believe I was. I think I was a sophomore in high school. It was my first game that I practiced, and first game that I dunked in. Practice.
Ball in hand or alley? Was it ball in hand or alley-oop?
Ball in hand. 2 feet, 2 hands, dunk.
All right.
So it was very generic, nice fast break.
Best player that you faced that never made it to the league?
Oh, that's a good question, actually. Best player that I faced. We might have to come back to that one because I want to give you a good. I'm going to give you a good answer on that. That's a good question.
Best dressed on the Bulls roster.
Best dressed. Zach Collins. Zach Collins has some good stuff. Josh Giddey will dress out, but
his is the coat. His is the coat thing. He's got the coat.
Yeah, he's got a coat. Yeah, Josh is he's kind of got a similar style. He swaps out his coats and his bags. Zach will kind of change it up. Zach will show you a couple different things.
All right. Worst dressed.
Worst dressed. I would probably go with. I'd say nobody has bad style, but some guys wear sweats, but king stuff.
There's three guys that kind of dress the exact kind of sweatshirt type.
Yeah, I would probably say Sticks. Sticks wears a lot of just King's gear, so maybe Sticks.
Class clown.
Class clown on our team is Modest or Javon Carter. Like both those two, they're funny. They're locked in.
Well, it's probably not the best way to phrase it with the gambling stuff going on, but you had to put money on it. Is Kevin Huerter a Bull next year?
It's a great question.
If it was up to me, I hope so. But we'll see. I'm not a gambling man.
I did this on my own. We'll see what you come up with. Instead of Mount Rushmore, Mount Redmore, of NBA redheaded guys, who would you put on Mount Rushmore?
Larry Bird, obviously. Wait, you talking about currently or all time?
It's got to be redheaded all time.
Redheaded all time.
I'm going Bird is blonde. I'm going Bird is blonde.
No, we claim him. Oh,
you do claim? All right. Okay, the Reds claim him. All right, now I got to change.
We claim him. Yeah.
All right.
I got Larry Bird. I got Brian Scalabrine and probably Blake Griffin.
Okay, so I need one more. It's got to be 4. You're missing a huge.
We'll probably go Matt Bonner.
Okay, so I had Bill Walton.
That's a good one.
But yeah, I don't have Larry Bird. Because you guys claimed Larry Bird. So no Larry Bird for mine. I had Bill Walton, Matt Bonner. I had Blake Griffin, because a lot of people don't realize he is a redhead. And then I had it come down. I said, sorry, Scal. I even wrote, sorry, Scal. I got it coming down to you and DiVincenzo.
That should be an easy choice. That's good. Honestly, Bill Walton. That's an obvious one.
Got to have Bill Walton on there.
Yeah, Bill Walton's on there.
All right, let's go back to this one. Then I got the last one for you that I'd like to end with. Best player you faced that didn't make the league. Could have been high school. Could have been in an AAU game. Dude was just like, we're like, whoa, this dude's going to make it.
This dude's going to make it. Carson Edwards at Purdue was pretty unbelievable. So Carson Edwards is now, I think he's playing over in Russia. So I would say him in college gave me fits. Trayvon Blewett in college, he went to Xavier. He gave us, I think, 30 in an NCAA tournament game. But most of the guys from high school, as I'm thinking, most of them are in the league or made the league.
Okay.
I'd say stuck around, right? Like a second contract type of guy.
Like most guys get you play summer league, get a rookie contract.
Get a taste of it. A cup of coffee.
Get a taste of it.
All right. This is my favorite one. Team plane, God forbid, goes down softly on a deserted island. Okay? It's the traveling party. Who is the first, and we got to keep this to just players, because a couple of years ago, I'll tell you in a second, who is the first eaten and who is the last survivor? A couple of years ago, Zach picked out poor Stacy as first eaten because he said he's not getting away. So we're going to keep it to players only. First eaten, last survivor.
The first eaten. That's bad. The first eaten, I'd say, just because of pecking order, like it would have to be Rook. Like it'd be Noah. It'd be like everyone come together, like, hey, the French kid, like, hey, Rook, you're gone first. Sorry.
Yeah.
The last to survive, that feels like it would come down to like a fist fight or some sort of survival.
It could just be a dude that just could just good at hiding.
Longevity, that's true. If we're going with like, I'd probably go with Pat Will. I don't think anyone like, hey, if it was fight to fight, I think P. Will would take down most of the crew. Because I don't think we have any like closet UFC fighters, any of that on this team.
No.
Some guy who randomly would know karate. Trey Jones could maybe find some hiding spots like you're talking about.
Just outthink you guys. He might outthink everybody.
Yeah, but like, you've seen did you see Squid Game, like that third season?
Yeah.
You're on a team, and then all of at some point that team is going to have to face each other and fight to the death.
You're going to have to kill each other. Yeah.
And I think Pat will, if he I think Pat will would have his way.
I did a Squid Game question with Caruso. Caruso was a big Squid Game guy when he was with the Bulls, and I asked him the Squid Game, and his answer was, have you talked to some of these guys? I would win the Squid Games hands down. I go, are you saying they're low IQ around you? He goes, have you talked to some of these guys? So Caruso was very, very high on how he would do in the Squid Games with this group, a different group.
I need to get with Mr. Beast. He did his Squid Games a couple of years ago. I need to get on one of those.
You do. Dude, thanks for doing this, man. Like I said, from afar, I wanted you to be a Bull years ago, and I'm glad they made that move. And I'm hoping you stay a Bull because you're good to deal with. Here's what Casey Johnson had a good comparison. You have a very similar personality to when Dunleavy was a Bull. Very matter of fact, kind of a dry sense of humor. Tells it like it is. Doesn't bullshit us. And trust me, as media, that's all you can ask for is someone that just straight shooter, doesn't bullshit around. So thanks for that. Thanks for doing this, bro. I appreciate it.
It's high praise. Yeah. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
All right. See you soon. All right. That was Kevin Huerter. Good guy. I don't think everybody knows his personality yet. Hopefully this brought out some of it, but he's like I said, the Casey Johnson's comparison to Dunleavy was spot on because he's very dry sense of humor. He's kind of always got that smirk and good dude, gets it done. All right, let's go to a real quick rant and a list, and then we'll get everybody out of here. The rant's simple. Kali Island, consistency. And I don't think I'm talking out of turn here. I don't think Billy Donovan would say something different. It's the bothersome part of this team, for me at least, is I think they should be way more consistent. And I do think they're better than the last week showed. I get losing to Giannis when he scores 41. I get the Donovan Mitchell thing. I get the Wemby thing to a certain point. The Detroit thing can't happen. If you're serious about your basketball season and you're serious about your team, the Denver game's a nice bounce back and was unexpected, especially coming off a double overtime in Utah. But Detroit can't happen, and Utah really can't happen. It's time this team flexes a little bit and starts letting everyone know that they're serious about basketball and they're serious about this year. I want guys like Kevin Huerter to stay around, selfishly. So, guys, get consistent. We can't be putting up with the same crap the last 2-3 years. And so hopefully that happens and hopefully that works out. Let's go to the list. Short list. I believe it was Chuck Swirsky said that Denver game was the best game he's witnessed for the Bulls in the last 18 years, whatever he said. He's prisoner of the now. That is not the case. Not even one of the top victories of this season. My top 3 victories so far for the Bulls this season. I'll go from 3, 2 to 1. Number 3 is opening night, letting Detroit know you're picked. You got all this hype, but guess what? We just beat your ass. Now, Detroit answered in Detroit, but it wasn't the starters. So the starters still have in the back of their head Cade Cunningham and Duran and all those guys. Bulls came out on opening night and beat us. I thought that was number 3. I thought it was important to start off at home with a win. Number 2, the Denver game. That's a schedule loss any day of the week. Double overtime the night before in Utah. You got to fly, go to Denver, high altitude, blah, blah, blah. Trey Jones isn't there. Kobe's out because of the back-to-back. And they go, and that second unit, my goodness, Dalen Terry, Javon Carter, Julian Phillips. I applaud all 3 of you guys. Just dogs. Number 1 was the Philly win. You're left for dead against a team that is right there with you at the time, starting off really well, big bully of the East, and you're down in the 20s, left for dead in front of your home crowd. Here we go again. Can't beat the Beasts, can't beat the big boys. First week was a fluke, blah, blah, blah. Come back and win that game. That was the biggest win of the year by far. So that's it. That's the list. Look, we're on a West Coast trip. We're in the middle of it. We got one more game. But thank Kevin Huerter for coming on. And until next week, I got next.